What's going on, everybody? Matt here. So today I'm going to be reviewing Attack on Titan Season 2 after watching it for the first time, and I'm super excited to talk about this season. It was just so fun, so entertaining, and I'm just loving this show so far, so I'm just super excited to talk about this season. But before I jump into the video, make sure to go down below and hit the subscribe button so you guys are up to date, so you guys know when more AOT reactions and reviews do come out, because more will be coming soon and you guys won't want to miss out. So go down below and hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button while you're down there, but let's jump into this review. So Attack on Titan Season 2, in many ways this is like Season 1.2 if you will, just because of where it picks up and just how it continues off of Season 1, but it's technically Season 2. And this season was great overall. I mean, it was only 12 episodes, but it was able to accomplish so much in those 12 episodes, and it was more than half the episodes shorter than Season 1, which it's just crazy how much story and things they were just able to tell and just show in that amount of time. But as I mentioned earlier, this season just picks up right where we left off in Season 1 after the events of Annie versus Eren. The characters are just thrown right back into the action, which I didn't fully expect. I thought there was going to be a period of rest, a period of peace for the characters, but no, they're just thrown right back into the craziness of all this, and we get to see all that craziness unfold. So after that big fight, so much happened, so much key information was thrown at us. For one, we learned that Titans have been living within the walls, that the walls are made out of Titans, which is still very mind-boggling to me. I still don't entirely know what that means in terms of everything, but it's just crazy to think about the things that they've been fighting have actually been protecting them this whole time, it seems like, and it's just like, why are they protecting them? Why are the walls made of Titans? It's still unknown, but it's just insane information to learn about. But I wish I could say like that's the craziest thing that happened in this first episode, because two other major things did happen in this first episode. We learned that Titans have breached Wall Rose somehow, that they got in past Wall Rose, and it's just a crazy moment for everybody. It creates this sense of fear, gives them flashbacks to 5 years ago. Titans have gotten in once again. We later learned that it's not entirely true, the information that was given before. Titans did get in past Wall Rose, but the way they got in was different from what everybody expected. But it was just a crazy way to kick off the season and build into the future episodes. The final big thing that happens in this episode is the Beast Titan appears, and he's the new Titan within Wall Rose that we haven't seen before, and he just seems more intelligent than everybody. He seems very strong, very just knowledgeable. He's able to speak, which raises a lot of questions for me. I think for one, he might be one of the first Titans. I mean, that's just the thought I have, because he does seem more advanced, more evolved than the others. I really don't know how to feel about the Beast Titan yet. I mean, we kind of only saw him for parts of this season, and then that big reveal at the end, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I mean, a new Titan, that's just huge news, but I wish I could say that's the only new Titan in the season, because we get 3 more huge reveals. So once the news that Wall Rose might have been breached, some of the scouts are sent to go look for this breach, for this hole within the wall. Obviously, in the later episodes, it comes back that they couldn't find the breach, so the wall was completely fine, which that raises more questions of how did the Titans get in. And we later find out some key things towards the end about, how these Titans just randomly appeared. I have some thoughts, I'll give those at the end. But during this time when the scouts are out looking for this breach, we spend a lot of time with kind of like the background scouts, so not Mikasa, Eren, and Armin, rather Rhaina, Amir, Sasha, Connie. I love seeing Sasha's past. We learn more about her family. Just get a good backstory to her character. She gets like this whole episode dedicated to herself, which I think is just a great episode overall, and I like exploring that character more. We also learned that Connie's village was destroyed, and within it is a huge Titan that resembles his mother. And again, I'll talk about that a little bit more towards the end, but that's huge information. And while they're out, doing all this, finding out all this information, they all meet up at like this old abandoned castle. And this is where things start to go down, because Titans start flooding the castle. Without any type of gear for protection, the scouts start to look for anything they could find to be useful in attacking the Titans. And through this search of items, we find out that Amir could read this language that is not a language that is spoke within the walls. And then we find out that she's able to take Titan form, which was a huge shock to me. For one, I don't really remember her character in Season 1. And 2, I mean, another Titan within the scouts is just big news, a big thing that just happens out of nowhere, which is just so shocking. And we end up getting like a full backstory on Amir. We learned that she lied about her place in the world. She lied that she was royalty when she wasn't. She ended up stealing this Titan power, basically. And she's a very different Titan, it seems. I mean, she's a lot smaller, more compact. She just has a different look than Annie and Aaron, so I don't know what that entirely means. I don't know, like, if she was given some type of different Titan power. Like, that's still confusing to me, which I think we'll learn in the future seasons. But yeah, that whole backstory of Amir, it was sad. It was sad. And overall, I mean, it just raised a lot of questions, but it's just really shocking to know that there was another Titan within the Scouts. But I wish I could say that's the only other Titan within the Scouts, because there's two more. Before I get there, Historia. Historia is something I should probably mention because it's huge. So basically, Krista is Historia. That's her true name. And she comes from noble blood, royal blood, and she was sentenced by the Wall worshippers to join the military, change her name, and take on this new identity. We get this really good episode in this season dedicated to Historia. It's like a flashback episode to her training days, and we get like a good idea of her character, who she is as a person, and her beliefs. But also it builds the relationship of Amir and Historia, which is big at the end of the season. So overall, I mean, learning all of that was great. It was surprising to say the least. And it just adds to the story overall. While at the castle, the surviving scouts actually get surrounded by Titans to the point where they almost die. And then that's when Amir turns into a Titan. And she ends up taking down a lot of the Titans. And then the scouts end up showing up to take down the rest. And this is like the first time Mikasa, Eren, and Armin are on screen for a long period of time. And it was kind of nice, you know, not having them as like the main focus of the first part of the season. Rather, we focused on the side characters because, you know, we were just able to build them up more, so, you know, you get more attached to them. So I didn't mind, you know, exploring those characters and putting Armin, Mikasa, and Eren to the side for a little bit. I should also mention that Hanji played a very big role in this season, being like the leader, which I really enjoyed seeing. She's one of my favorite characters in the show, so just having her be more prominent in this season was just super fun, and it was just nice seeing her character take the lead and just step up in that role, so I really enjoyed that. While on the topic of characters, one character I did miss this season because he didn't have much screen time at all was Levi. I really enjoyed his character in the first season, so in this season, I know it made sense that he wasn't in too much of it because of what happened with either the fractured or broken leg or arm or whatever it was, so it makes sense why he wasn't in it. I just wish we could have seen more of that character, but I think they're saving that for season 3 and 4 possibly, so you know, I'm excited for that. Just wish we could have seen a little bit more of him. Okay, so back on the topic of the story. After everything that went on at the castle, they retreated to the walls, and they get to the top of the wall, and that's when we learned that the wall, there was no breach within it, so the Titans being in there made no sense at all. Originally, I believed that maybe they were digging holes underground to get in, that maybe the Beast Titan was helping there. But then at the end, they revealed that the Titans are actually humans, which led me to obviously believe that somehow the humans within this village turned into Titans, and they were the Titans that were in Wall Rose that were just mysteriously there. And I think still the Beast Titan had something to do with it, that guy with the blonde hair had something to do with it. I don't know how exactly they turned into Titans, but I think he's definitely a key in that. That huge news that the wall was never breached, that was definitely big for the time. But then while the scouts are on the wall just standing there, trying to figure out everything that just happened with Amir, we get huge news that Rhina and Bertolt are the armored and colossal Titan. And this all happened in episode 6, and this episode was incredible. Probably my favorite episode in the season, and that news was just shocking. Even though I called it in season 1, I still didn't want to believe it. So in episode 6, Rhina pulls Eren aside and he just starts telling him everything. He tells him he's the armored Titan, that Bertolt is the colossal Titan. And this was shocking to Eren. He didn't want to believe it. There's this flashback where, you know, they kind of figured that somehow they were working with Annie. But Eren was like, no, you guys are just thinking too far ahead, that this isn't true. It can't be true, but it is. And the way that they handled this reveal was so well done. He started telling Eren as they cut away to the next shot of Hanji. And then they cut back to, like, you know, the big reveal, Eren's reaction. And it was just a really well handled scene in my opinion. Eren tries talking Rhina out of the whole situation, you know, he basically tells him he's losing his mind, but basically Rhina loses it and he can't stay in that character no more because he was playing a character the whole time. This person he was playing wasn't true to himself, so he just loses it and he starts to get ready to go into Titan form. Mikasa comes out of nowhere and just starts slaying them, but you know, it wasn't enough to hold them back. And then the two turned into Titans, and it was just an insane moment. I loved how well it was animated. It just looked so great. the music, everything about that scene was just perfect in my opinion. I thought it was a perfect reveal. And then that leads into the fight between Eren and Reina, which was great for a number of reasons. The reason I liked this fight so much was because of the emotions behind it and what this fight meant to Eren. Because this wasn't just a normal fight to him, this fight was bigger than just a Titan versus a Titan. It was revenge on what happened 5 years ago. So in season 1 you have Eren versus Annie, which is big because, this was his moment to get revenge for the fallen scouts, for what this female Titan has done to the people around him. But in this fight, it elevates it to the next level because he's getting that revenge on the people who started all of this 5 years ago, the people who broke down the wall, who let Titans in, the people who were responsible for killing his mother. So for him, that revenge, that sense of getting the revenge that he needs is there. The emotion is there for him. And overall, that's just huge. That's a huge factor in this fight, is getting that revenge for what happened 5 years ago. It's a lot different fight from Annie versus Eren just because of that. But also what makes this fight great is he uses techniques he learned from Annie in training camp when he was in human form and applied it to himself in Titan form, which created for some great counterattacks against Reina. And just gave Eren the upper hand at times rather than it being one-sided and just giving Reina all the leverage in the fight. But the fight ultimately ended with Eren losing due to Bertolt, or the colossal Titan, falling on him, allowing Reina and Bertolt to escape with the captured Eren and Amir. Once the two had Eren and Amir, they ended up retreating to this forest where they talked for a little bit, and then the scouts came after them to rescue Eren. And that's where it started building towards the finale of this season. So the scouts push Reina and Bertolt into an open field where they have Titans starting to surround them, starting to grab onto Reina. At some point during the scouts' mission, Erwin actually ends up losing his arm, which was just an insane moment. And while he's getting his arm bit off by a Titan, he's still screaming at everybody to advance forward, to not let go, to go get Eren. And it's just a badass moment overall. That's the easiest way to put it, and just proves why Erwin is just one of the most badass characters in this show, and it was just an insane moment overall, which I loved. I should also mention, on top of losing his arm, he ends up freeing Eren from Bertolt and Reina by slinging himself up there and slicing through Bertolt, letting Eren free, and just goes to show why he's a badass overall. The dude lost his arm and still does that, and I'm just this dude's awesome. This dude's awesome. That's the best way to put it. That scene just proves why he's one of my favorite characters and why he's just a badass character overall. I'll say it once and I'll say it again. He is a badass, and that scene was just awesome. So after being set free from Reina and Bertolt, Eren and Mikasa come face to face with the Titan who killed Eren's mother, which was just a huge moment, a huge shock in the story. So Eren, he's trying to turn into Titan form to take it down. Hannes, who was there to witness Eren's mother die, he's trying to fight the Titan as best as he could. He's trying to kill the Titan. He's slashing in all different areas, but he ends up getting grabbed by the Titan and he gets killed. And this just breaks Eren. He couldn't transform. He couldn't save another person from this Titan, and he just loses it. He keeps trying to transform, but then he throws a punch at the Titan. And this is a very interesting moment because when he throws that punch, something happens where he's able to control Titans, sending a whole bunch of different Titans at that one Titan, killing that Titan. And it's from here that we learn that Eren has a special power called Coordinate, where he's able to, choose where Titans go, kind of control their direction, looks like, or seems like. So it's a very special power that I think will play a big role in the future seasons. Something that I think will be huge for the scouts and huge for winning this war for humanity. So I think this power just changes the story in many ways and just changes how they go about attacking the Titans from here on out. So the scouts end up retreating after Eren sends all the Titans after Reina and Bertolt. Amir actually ends up going with Reina and Bertolt. We see her at the end, on the wall with them. And once back within the city, that's where we learn that Titans might be humans. That's where Connie kind of breaks everything down. That's where we get that big reveal that Titans might be humans. And that's just a huge moment. It just makes sense overall how those Titans were in the wall without there being a breach. And then this season finishes with a very interesting shot of someone emerging from the Beast Titan, someone with blonde hair and glasses, who I think is behind all of this. It would just make sense that this dude's the master, maybe the first Titan, the first person who can turn into a Titan. And it just leaves on that huge cliffhanger of who is this person, what is his role, but I don't know. And it was just a great way to finish off the season with all these great moments in this final episode. Overall, I think the season was a great continuation to season 1. It was great all around. It answered some of the questions I had after season 1, but also created so many more questions that I'm excited to see answers to in the future. If I had to give this season a rating, I would give it a rating of around an 8.9, just in line with season 1. Again, it was just a great continuation. It was seamless, and it just felt like, the second part of the story. So I enjoyed the season overall a ton, and I really can't wait to watch season 3 and 4. I just can't wait to see where the story goes from here, because I just don't know where it goes. But I'm going to end a review here. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to go down below and hit the like button so I know that you guys are liking these videos. Also, make sure to subscribe for more AOT reactions and reviews that will be coming soon. But yeah, that was my season 2 review. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one with a season 3 reaction. So stay tuned for that. Peace.